Back again with another one. Burgundy Drip Gold Shrum. Now, if you're here for the first time, you want NFL Commanders content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to build a base, man. I'm on the cinder block right now, looking for the bricks to put in place in order. Today, we're going to talk about EB. Eric Bieniemy, former offensive coordinator for the the four-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, but he won 2 of them out of 3. So I read a report on the new Malcolm X edition of Twitter, which is now just called X. Thank you, Elon. Thank you a lot for that. The new Malcolm X edition. I'm going to just leave the screenshot on the screen for you guys because, it's just too much to pack in. But Nikki Jabala, I believe that's how you say her name, she had a report and asking about the coaching. Is it too intense? Is it too much? And they said some players with quotations. My thing is this, I feel like, we've gotten away from all of that negativity where the media just was like, man, if we need a story, we'll go to Washington. We'll go to Washington. To get a story, here's some negativity. Negativity will always outweigh anything positive in the press towards this team until we self-assert ourselves and change this narrative and become winners. And, we got to get that stench off of Dan Snyder. Damn, Daniel, look what you left behind. We got to get that funk from the Snyder era and the ways of losing and the ways of unprofessionalism away from this organization. Eric Bieniemy was brought in for a reason. He was brought in for a reason to improve this stagnant, stale offense with all these weapons. A quarterback coming in with a fraction of talent and abilities, and we know Sam Howell is talented and has the abilities. The questioning will be his progression through his read, and far as his we know he can make plays. Only make plays on his feet, but just his decision making overall. And he's a young quarterback coming in, sophomore, and he was highly touted at one point and praised. And one point in time, it was projected to be the number 1 overall pick. Now you have a guy, offensive mind like Eric Bieniemy, which many tried to discount and discredit on was he truly the mastermind behind the Chiefs' success with Patrick Mahomes. He comes out that Andy Reid coaching tree. So we know he comes out of a good pedigree, a good tutelage of coaching. So he's also intense. He also doesn't care about how players feel. He doesn't care if you're the star or superstar. He doesn't care how many endorsement deals, how many cars you own. He's going to get on you in the football field. Rightfully so. That's what we want, and that's what we needed over the years. A coach that's going to hold players accountable. We need players. We need leaders on the team to hold other players accountable. Now, I think in this situation, Ron Rivera, he has a problem with talking a little bit, being too telltale towards the media. The media does not need to know everything that's going on in this household. Hell, some of the fans, we don't need to know everything. You know what I'm saying? That needs to stay in-house, in my personal opinion. But it kind of does make you wonder which one of these players are going around complaining about it. I hope it is not a guy who just brought in the camp. I hope it's not a veteran, because that's not setting a great precedent and a great example for guys behind you if it's a veteran. And if you in camp, you have to work your butt off to get on that 53-man roster anyway. So you don't even need to be even complaining. You have 31 other teams out there who are in camp right now. And there's players that are really trying to play for a spot on that team. A lot of these guys are in better positions financially in life just for making a 53-man roster. You know what I'm saying? Probably just even being on the practice squad, you're already good for a year. You're good for a few months or however it goes. But players need to be held accountable. I have no issue with what EB is doing. I love it. We need that intensity. We need that aggression. We need players to be attentive, to understand. We need players to pay attention to detail. Like, I'm a detail-oriented, driven guy. We need good patterns and concepts drawn up for receivers. We need the right play calls in situations. We did not get that from Scott Turner. It was so frustrating over these last few years. This quote-unquote offensive mind, this offensive tree or whatever he comes from, living off of Daddy Norv's name, this offensive whatever, you did not bring that here. You know, I remember Terry's sophomore season. You can go back and look this up. Through the first 10 weeks of the season, Terry was number 1 in receptions, and I think number 2 in receiving yards. He had about 62 receptions by week 10 of that season, and I think close to 800 receiving yards and probably 2 touchdowns. I know he may have had like some injuries or whatever. He had like 62 catches. He finished the rest of the season with 25 catches. So that means throughout the course of the last 7 weeks of the season, the man only seen about 3 catches a game. Now, I understand at that time we were limited due to limitations at the receiver position at that time and not having a legit number 2. Teams would just scheme around stopping Terry. Their zone, you know, they'll double, may have like triple coverage in some areas of the field that he was on, so to force the quarterback to do whatever. And I believe Alex Smith was under center at that time. So we already know what we were gonna get with that. It just wasn't good. Like, but it's still coaches that know how to like work with the limitations. They know how to draw up plays for running backs, as far as in the pass games, in the flats. You know, scheme with the blocking. You know, scheme to get a receiver or a tight end open. We didn't see none of that brilliance and quotations from Scott Turner. It was cringeworthy to watch every single week. The players on this team need that intensity. They need somebody getting on their ass. They need that. I don't know who's these quote-unquote some players are, and I really don't care to know. But if these some players may not need to be on this roster if this is their mindset. This is business, bruh. This is business. You don't need to be here if you're not trying to come in with your hard hat and your what's the joint? Your tin can, whatever, your tin can pail for lunch. Like we coming. We're coming, bro. We're coming this year. Pause. We coming for people this year. We coming for teams this year. We don't need no excuses. We need players to be held accountable, coaches to be held accountable, so on and so forth. So which some of you quote-unquote players are, man, get it together or be gone. I'm not going to wrap y'all up way too much longer on this. But if you enjoyed the if you enjoyed the commentary, you enjoyed the content, and you are into NFL Commanders content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you agree, you cool with me. And if you're going to disagree, please do so respectfully.